All right, my name is Marco Moronsky, and I did my second seminar on the Australian paralysis tick. And there's a pretty grotesque picture of it right there. To start it off, there's a little bit of background. Um, its genus and species name Ixodes holocyclus. It is one of 75 Australian ticks, um, and this one is considered to be the most medically important, which we will get to later in the presentation. Um, and it is found in eastern Australia, native to many mammals, birds, and sometimes reptiles. That's just some background. We'll get into more detail later on. Like I was saying, the distribution is in eastern Australia. It's found in a variety of habitats across the humid coastal regions of eastern Australia, particularly wet and temperate forest areas, and may be found year-round. Obviously, the areas in red are where the tick can be found in eastern Australia. Um, Symptoms that the tick gives off. Well, it's a disease, or it's not really a disease, it's known as tick paralysis. Um, Depending on the time of the infestation, the symptoms are often fatal for the animals or mammals that it infests. We'll get into the mechanism for that in a little bit, but it's due to paralysis, obviously, and they can rarely infect humans. I didn't find too many cases of infected humans, but there are symptoms listed for it because there has been cases. The infection to humans causes local itchiness, a hard lump on the site of the bite, and then as it progresses, as time goes on, flu-like symptoms can occur, weak limbs can occur, and as the tick stays on longer and longer, partial face paralysis can occur in the human as well. The life cycle of the tick, um, as you can see, it's a pretty normal life cycle, and it goes into has an egg stage, hatches in a larva stage. It feeds on any kind of host it can find. Like it says there, human, dogs, rodents. Um, it needs to become engorged as a larva in the larva stage to become a nymph. The nymph then feeds again, becomes engorged, matures into the adult stage, feeds again, becomes engorged one more time, and then is ready to lay its eggs to complete the life cycle. Um, the transmission cycle is through contaminated media, direct, because it basically lays eggs in dry leaves and branch litter, which is where its habitat is kind of found. Um, and then this process is just repeated over and over again. Here I just have better pictures of the tick through its stages. As you can see, the one on the left is unengorged, which is before feeding. The two in the middle are partially and fully engorged, which is basically just a filling of blood into the body. And then on the right is the non-toxic male. Reproduction, it's pretty simple sexual mating, male and female. Like I said before, the males are non-toxic, but the females are toxic. Um, when the nymphs mature into the adult stage, about half are male, half are female. Those end up mating. Um, the females lay their eggs after mating and engorging in order to reproduce. Pretty simple reproduction cycle. Um, Adaptations, one of the big ones, which is found by all tick species, we've kind of talked about in class before, is questing in order to feed. They basically climb their way up into higher vegetation areas, making themselves available to be brushed by animals or humans or any type of host that they see fit. Um, as that human or any other host walks by and brushes onto the vegetation, the tick will be brushed onto the host and then can start its engorging process. Um, the real adaptation that we have to talk about with this tick is the release of a neurotoxin, in order to feed longer on its host. It's its main strategy for continuing its life cycle. The neurotoxin has been named holocyclotoxin, and the structure of it is not published yet. They're still doing research on it, trying to figure out exactly how it works. But basically, it affects the afferent pathways that are responsible for neuromuscular transmission, which obviously leads to paralysis. And then or paralyzed host makes it easier for the tick to engorge and feed longer, because obviously the host will not be moving around as much due to the paralysis. So that's its main adaptation to continue its life cycle. And then last, we got the cutting edge research. I found this is what really made me interested in this species of tick, is that it has been known to be very fatal to pets, especially dogs, because of the paralysis. I found this article in which researchers are attempting to use a fluorolaner. Can't really, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it is some sort of drug that is known to prevent tick infestation, and um, which would then prevent the tick paralysis in this case. And this was obviously to control the infestation of dogs in Eastern Australia to prevent fatalities. Um, about the research, each dog was infested with 30 ticks, and that was each tick was monitored daily. Um, at the same time, at least 25 milligrams per kilogram of fluoroliner was administered to each dog at the beginning of the trial. And so daily the ticks were monitored, and after 115 days, there is a 100% success rate of preventing paralysis and tick infestation within the dogs, obviously rendering the um, administered drug to be very effective in preventing tick infestation. This is relatively new research, so I'm sure the clinical stages and all that stuff will be are going through that process right now to get the drug on the market to prevent these tick infestations. But yeah, so basically that is the Australian paralysis tick, and it's pretty cool because it's a creepy parasite. It can obviously have fatal outcomes, but through research and experiments like this cutting edge research one, it seems as if we are finding a way to control the paralysis prevention stuff. So that's my presentation. Thank you.